So I come from the land of karma, but I always had a difficult time with this whole concept of destiny. I had a left brain, right brain conflict until this one incident that kind of shook my core belief system. So ever since I was a kid, I had two interests. I loved the logical power of computing, but I also loved the visual storytelling of films. I ended up choosing a career in computers. And I hitched my ride on one of the best tech companies out there. And for 10 years, it was an amazing ride. I worked with the best of the best. But I felt like I was somehow neglecting my part of the brain that wanted to do something creative, make a film that more than my mom would be proud of. And I'd worked on some side projects, but nothing that substantial. So I asked my boss, I gave him a proposal he couldn't refuse. How about I work part-time for a year, 2 days a week, from anywhere I choose, any time zone I choose, and can you keep that job for me when I come back? He said, sure, why not? So I moved to India for a year, and I made a short film called The Eclipse of Tarigna. It did really well. It went to a lot of festivals, hung out with celebrities. It's about an old man who bonds with his 8-year-old grandson as the longest solar eclipse of the century passes through that town. We shot it in about 100 kilometers from Mumbai in the peak of the monsoon season. And if you know monsoon, you know that nor'easter is like a piddle in front of a monsoon. In that 1 week of extreme rain, we had 3 hours of sunlight, and that happened to be the exact 3 hours I had slotted to shoot my climax. So that was the first bit of good luck. That's me trying to control the crowd. By the way, those are all villagers that we summoned for this climactic scene. A lot of the scenes happen in this one room, the old man's bedroom. And we hijacked, or we took over this nursery at this house that belonged to a villager. And we dressed it up. These are all props. And while we were taking the first shot, the old man, played by this actor, not very well known, called Mr. Rajan, he constantly was looking at the corner of his eye at this photograph. Between 2 takes, he picked that photograph up. It was a man much younger than him, looking out in the distance. And he said, where did you get this from? I don't know, it's part of the set. That's me. I said, you mean that looks like you? He said, no, that's me. Before I was an actor, I was a wildlife photographer, and I went all over India. On one of my assignments, I was taking a break, and my assistant took this photograph. How did you get this photograph? Meanwhile, DK, who was my art director, was in the other room. He had not heard any of this. I summoned him. DK, where did you get this photograph from? He said he was from the theater, so everything he got was from a thrift shop. Thrift shops in India look very different from thrift shops in the US. I asked him, why did you pick this one photograph of all the photographs you could pick? He said, in the story, the old man is a retired civil engineer. And I imagined him on the field on one of his assignments, and he's taking a break, and his assistant probably took that photograph. We were completely blown. How could this happen? How could that one photograph of this actor who's been in maybe a couple of films, he was no Shah Rukh Khan, end up at this thrift shop? And how did this art director who knew nothing about him pick this one photograph? I know the mathematicians among you are debating about the odds out there, but it was pretty difficult odds. I was blown. Mr. Rajan was obviously thrilled. He kept retelling the story to whoever would listen to him. At the premiere of the film, he took me aside, and he handed me another photograph. It was autographed. It was the master copy. And yes, it was the same photograph. Thank you.